Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Richard Moore, Executive Director of Texas Community College Teachers Association. I have with me Beeman Floyd, who does our legislative work at the Capitol. You've had your hands full all session long. We've had more going on this session than I can ever remember in a legislative session, but here we are. We want to give you a quick update on some key bills that we're keeping an eye on, and we'll talk about things that you can do to be involved. These things really go to the heart of everything you do, so we really do need everybody, all hands on deck for this. Beeman, why don't we start? Could you just give us a quick update on some of these bills that we're looking at? Why don't we start with House Bill 8 and how things look on funding?
Sure. House Bill 8 is the funding reform bill for community colleges. It was voted unanimously out of committee a week ago, or just a little more than a week ago, and then it was heard on the House floor on Monday, and then yesterday for third reading, and was unanimously voted off the floor both times. So that bill is in absolutely great shape. There's really a buzz has started about that. You may recall that this is the bill that creates a two-tier system that comes with about $650 million of additional funding for community colleges. And then has a lot of rulemaking on the backside, where the Higher Education Coordinating Board works on what constitutes credentials of value and other awards in the performance tier of the bill. So there's a lot of work to do. We're supportive of the bill, but we are supportive with the understanding and knowledge that there's a lot of work to do once this bill passes on getting the rules right for it to conform with the faculty interests.
And these do really have a big impact on how our members do their jobs. So we're going to have a lot of work to do going forward. Have a look at some of the previous videos where we've talked about the language of the bill, just so you can see what our concerns are and our thinking behind supporting the legislation.
Sure, and that bill will now go to the Senate and do its thing all over again, although it'll be faster in the Senate likely because the Senate has heard the Senate version of that bill, and it has passed out of committee unanimously. And so the likely path will be that the Senate committee will receive the House bill, substitute the House bill for the Senate bill that they've already heard, and the bill will go immediately to the Senate floor.
Okay, good. We'll keep you updated on that. Now, what else are we looking at? We call it the Holy Trinity of 16, 17, and 18. Could you briefly summarize those bills and
Sure.
And how they're making their way through?
Sure. Senate Bill 16 is the bill related, we think, to critical race theory, although the bill does not say critical race theory. It says that faculty members are not allowed to compel or attempt to compel a belief from a student that any race, ethnicity, gender, religious, social, or political belief is inherently superior to another. We know that you all don't do that. You are into critical thinking and critical inquiry. Our problem is that may be in the eye of, in the ears of the listener, rather than in the actual facts of the matter. And this bill has been passed by the Senate and is now headed for the House. We have great concerns about the vagueness of the bill, and more concerns now than we did, because on its way across the Senate floor, the bill picked up an amendment that says two things. One is it creates a process for complaints to be forwarded related to the bill. Again, we're not sure what that means. And then the second is that it creates a mandatory dismissal for any faculty member found in violation of the section. Which again, if you look at the vague language in the front of the bill and then have a mandatory dismissal in the bill, that's very concerning for us.
And that can make a fairly harmless sounding bill really dangerous because the language is so vague. So what are we looking at on Senate Bill 17?
Senate Bill 17 is the DEI bill. It's the one that forbids offices of diversity, equity, and inclusion, and it also makes a lot of other changes with regard to governance of universities and how they pick their presidents and things of that nature, universities and colleges. And so that bill was heard last Thursday night. It was one of those very long hearings that wrapped about 1:30 in the morning. 85 witnesses in favor of the bill and probably around 60 opposed to the bill. Notwithstanding that, the subcommittee, which is 5 people, 4 Republicans and 1 Democrat, passed the bill that night on party lines. And so that bill is now ready to be taken up by the full Senate, but it has not been placed on the intent calendar yet, meaning that it's not ripe for hearing by the Senate, and probably won't be this week. It'll probably wait till next week on the intent calendar.
And I'd encourage everybody to read the language of the bill, all of these bills, really. I think one of our concerns with with this particular bill is that we're going to have the offices of diversity, equity, and inclusion prohibited at our colleges, and that has to do with staffing decisions and operations within the institution.
And this bill also has a significant penalty provision
Mm-hmm.
that says if the section is violated, again unspecified with regard to actions related to DEI, that faculty can be fired, they can be suspended without pay.
And part of our concern, I think, is that we've got students that need the work that happens at our schools. That's where our students are. They're the students that need the supports that we're talking about. And there did seem to be some misapprehension on the committee about what DEI offices are and what DEI is, that makes it sound more troubling than it is. It tends to be pretty straightforward about how do we engage with our students and how can we be successful with them and help them be successful. So there's a lot of educating that needs to be done, and we'll be getting in touch with y'all further as this works its way through.
This bill will be reviewed by the full Senate Education Committee prior to going to the Senate floor, and so there's another moment on this bill's journey in which it will be exposed to critique and criticism. It's unclear whether they're going to take public testimony again when they put it before the full committee, but the full committee membership will have a chance to debate the bill.
Mm-hmm. So 18, let's talk about that.
Senate Bill 18 is the bill that eliminates tenure starting September 1st, 2023. So if you have tenure prior to, if you have it now, or if you have it, if you are granted tenure prior to September 1st, you will have tenure so long as you stay at the same institution for the remainder of your career. But after September 1st, there will no longer be tenure in public institutions of higher education in Texas. The bill does allow for Board of Trustees or Board of Regents to establish a multi-year contract system if they so desire, but evidently you can't call it tenure. At least that's certainly the strong inference from the bill.
And this committee hearing was similar to the last one you mentioned, in that there were a lot of witnesses opposed to the legislation and the impact it would have at the institutions. But there seems to be support for it on the Senate side. How does it look on the House side?
Certainly less clear vocal support. There's one of the big issues is that you're not seeing House companion bills moving in the House committee. The House is awaiting these Senate bills, waiting for them to come over. Once they come over, we'll know a lot more about we'll see how quickly the House wants to hear these things, if they want to hear them, and see if they want to hear one or the other of them that leave some. We're hopeful that the House staff and members are listening to the debate and listening to their constituents. That's you, as you talk to them about the progress of these bills and understanding that these bills may have a really serious impact on our ability to teach our students and to staff our institutions.
Whether our colleges offer tenure or not, it just has a big impact on the whole environment that we're operating in.
Okay.
Timing is going to be important in this, so please check your email inbox to get the latest word on this. We'll let you know more about that. We've been sending out weekly emails and be looking for more videos like this. You don't have to wait. Go ahead and call your legislators now, Senate and House. Let them know how you feel. And then as it's moving through the process, we'll let you know when there are key moments that you really need to weigh in. Thanks for paying attention. We'll be in touch with you soon.
Okay.